Advocacy Director with Gender Justice. We are here today to demand equality and to declare that equality has no qualifiers, no exceptions, no carve-outs. Equal means equal, and all means all.
And I really do truly believe that the most important thing that the Minnesota legislature can do is to take the voters and give the voters an opportunity to provide certainty and stability to Minnesota's legal system by setting a very clear legal standard that everyone, regardless of their gender, where they live, what they do, no matter what, is protected equally in the Minnesota Constitution through an Equal Rights Amendment.
Let the people vote. To date, over 29 states have equal rights amendments in their state constitution. Minnesota is not one of them. We mean to change that. It has been 102 years since the now fully ratified federal ERA was first introduced into Congress, and 42 years since a Minnesota state ERA was first introduced. And as we have witnessed our rights being systematically stripped away in other states, to secure future protections against discrimination based on race, color, national origin, ancestry, disability, or sex, including pregnancy, pregnancy outcomes, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation. We need to pass the ERA now. Now, we came within a hair's breadth of passing the ERA this
My English name is Peggy Flanagan. My Ojibwe name is Speaks in a Loud and Clear Voice Woman. I'm a member of the White Earth Nation, and my family is the Wolf Clan, and the role of our clan is to ensure that we're never leaving anyone behind, which is why we are in the Rotunda today. I am your Lieutenant Governor, but as I stand here, I am Pat Flanagan's daughter, and I am Siobhan's mom. And we are in a moment where sometimes it is hard to talk to my daughter about the current position that we find ourselves in. And I at times struggle to find the right words. But here's what I know. I know that when the Dobbs decision came down, the first thing that I did was call my mom. And with tears in my eyes, I was talking to my mom, and she said, in the way that she did, which is a little bit of caring and nurturing, and with a dash of get your stuff together. And she said, Peggy, I have been preparing you your whole life for this moment. And so I want to be very clear that we lost my mom shortly after the 2022 election. But I know that she has absolutely prepared me for this moment. And that the women who have loved you into existence have prepared you for this moment as well. And it's okay. It's okay if you feel scared. It's okay. And it's okay if you cannot find the right words for the young people around you, or for the friends that you have been shoulder to shoulder in this fight for years and years. It is okay. But I want to tell you what is not okay. Giving up. Because as an Anishinaabe-Kwe, I know that our people, our communities have been through so much. And yet, we have come out on the other side and we are resilient. And that I also know in my bones that we will continue to do this work together and we will win. And I have said this before, but it bears repeating. As a survivor of domestic violence and as a child witness, sometimes I made myself small in order to survive. Making ourselves small in this moment does not serve anyone. And there are people who will try to make you small, who will try to make you play small, and we are not going to do that. We will not simply slink off into the dark of the night. Because the women in our lives, because our trans relatives in our lives who we love, because of the people who need access to reproductive health care, and for simply being told that we are human beings worthy of dignity and decency and common respect and safety. We will not back down or make ourselves small in this moment.
I'm Lake Carthen Watson, and I have the honor of serving as the president and CEO of YWCA Minneapolis. So I was talking to some folks about this rally, and I happened to mention that I was going to be speaking this morning. And they said, well, why on earth would the YWCA be involved in that? And I see enough old faces, familiar faces in this audience to know you understand why I found that so amusing. We are the YWCA of Minneapolis. And since 1891, we have dedicated ourselves to the mission of eliminating racism, empowering women, and ensuring the peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. And it is our mission that drives us to stand with all of you, all of our partners today, in support of the Minnesota Equal Rights Amendment. Supporting the Equal Rights Amendment, as I so politely inform my friend, is actually a continuation of the work that we have always done for over 130 years. We have been generating change in the areas of racial justice, reproductive and civil rights, and the empowerment and economic advancement of women and girls. Some of you may remember, or probably not. If you were lucky, you may have remembered or had the opportunity, like I did, to hear my mother and grandmother talk about how the YWCA integrated our programs in the 1920s. How we came out in favor of reproductive rights. How the YWCA in Minneapolis was the first integrated pool in the Twin Cities. And we recruited women of color for positions on our board of directors and as board chairs. Some of you may remember that we came out against lynching, that we provided protection and support for freedom riders, and that we worked for the passage of the Civil Rights Act. How many of you remember the brouhaha when we came out both locally and nationally for reproductive rights? We also fought back against attempts to limit reproductive choice as well as access to birth control. And we stood tall when it came to the rights of our LGBTQ brethren as well. We supported marriage equality. We actually provided legal assistance to those members of our LGBTQIA communities who were targeted or unfairly targeted for legal persecution. We've been there all this time. And we've also been there for the ERA at the state and national level. And a lot of you were here with us. We held forums, we spoke out about the ERA, what it was, what it wasn't, and how it would affect all of us. We held fundraising campaigns, we held meetings to encourage people to join us on this fight. We hosted speeches from prominent women leaders all across the country. We also arranged marches, remember those? Strikes, protests, and rallies. And we are going to continue to do that until it is enshrined at the state and national level. While we here in Minnesota are fortunate that our state has firmly planted its flag on these fundamental rights, and actually we kind of thought that the Supreme Court and the rest of the country had pretty much done so as well, but recent court decisions, actual and threatened legislative action, and the election results in November have made clear that our rights, all of this work we have done, are tenuous at best. And that is why the Minnesota Equal Rights Amendment is so important. It is only with that amendment that we can guarantee rights for all Minnesotans, both now and in the future. By enshrining those protections in our state constitution, we can ensure that equal rights and protections will endure, no matter who is in office or how the political landscape evolves. We have worked too hard and come too far to have these fundamental rights be subject to capricious political winds.
Espouse the gospel of freedom. And let me make that clear to you what he was espousing. Everybody is somebody. Oh, you didn't listen. Everybody is somebody. Everybody is entitled for their rights and their dignity to be recognized and honored in this country. Everybody is somebody.
We as legislators have new opportunities to improve the lives of Minnesotans and to ensure that every one of us has the opportunity to live their lives with the freedoms and protections that our laws and Constitution affords us. For the past 2 years in Minnesota, we've done the work and enacted policies that would benefit our families and communities for generations. We also insisted on showing the nation that we are a welcoming state for people who don't feel welcome in other places. But we still have work to do to ensure that everyone has protections under the law. That's another reason why ERA should be passed.
What do we want?
ERA!
When do we want it?
Now!
My name is Max Wynn, and I'm a student from Egan High School. I'm truly honored to be invited to speak before you today. This weekend, I attended the Youth in Government Conference with my friend Kyle Chen, along with many other incredibly involved and passionate youth advocates around the state. We have seen firsthand the power and change that we can all create simply by making our voices heard together. One voice and one effort may be small, but with all of us together, we will make a difference. Together, we must continue to build a more inclusive democracy and value human rights. The Minnesota ERA would guarantee equal rights for everyone, ensuring that no community, including us students, are left behind. I am inspired and hopeful to be a part of this movement. While recognizing both historical and current injustices, we can enshrine the values of fairness, equality, and justice in our state's constitution. We stand together with everyone before us and the leaders alongside us today to finally pass today's inclusive and intersectional ERA.